Well, and I'm going back to one of the questions we discussed before. Because the time is passing by, you are getting wiser just by default. Because some people think like that.
Yeah.
Well, is that the truth?
Yeah. I don't know why people don't change. There's some principles that I believe. You can't spend time with God and not get changed. You can't spend time in His Word without being changed. You know, God's a loving Father, and a loving Father instructs. The Bible says, discipline those that you love. God disciplines. He disciples. There has to be a willingness to say this: I was wrong. And I've stood before my church, and I stood up one Sunday and goes, I was wrong. I tell this in pastors' conferences. Pastors need to learn to say 2 words: I'm sorry. But just because we've done it doesn't mean we need to continue to do it. And again, we're in 2022, and this is a far different culture than when I got saved in 1970. I'm not crazy about this culture. I'm an old man, so I like the old culture better in some ways. But we have to learn how to minister to this culture. And as we were saying, it's like going sailing. When I go sailing, and if the wind is light, I have to put up certain sails to capture the wind that's available. If the wind is heavy, you drop the light sails and put up heavier sails. The point is, you want to capture the wind, what God's doing, and go in the direction He wants you to go in. And we have to be willing to be changed. And,
so the focus in what you are saying is not focusing on the culture, but to focus on God's voice, specific for this generation.
Right. His voice, His word, you know.
Because also you see that happening sometimes, like church trying to be cool and trying to be nice, and they kind of start to get weird.
Yeah. I've seen it all.
I'm sure you did. That's why I'm asking.
When a church is adapting to the culture, the problem is normally the senior ministry, he doesn't understand his identity, and this happens a lot all over the world, where this church has success doing this. So he goes, well, we should do that and we'll have success. Well, here's the reality. God's called that church to do that, and you need to discover what God's called your church to do. And so we have copycats. So that doesn't work out, and then another fad happens in the church. Oh, we're going to do this now. And you know, we're here, there, and the church is going nowhere. And instead of discovering what am I supposed to do? I live in New England. It's a different culture than living in Alabama. And so we have to discover who we are and to be happy with it. And some churches have 1,000 people. Good for them. Some churches have 20. Which church is successful? They both are, if they're doing the will of the Father. Size doesn't matter. It's the heart and the obedience and doing what God called them to be that's important.